Hi and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Mia and today we are going to do some baking. I want to start off with making syrup loaves. It's a sliceable bread that is seasoned with dark syrup, like dark bread syrup. And it also contains sifted rye flour, but it's a very soft bread, kind of sweet, maybe more suitable for weekends. So I'm going to make 3 loaves of that, and we're also going to make some banana and chocolate muffins that are a little bit more healthy than the standard. It's sweetened with honey and contains some yogurt and stuff like that. So we'll see. But they're still super tasty. My kids love them for like afternoon snacks. Yeah, you can't feel that they're healthy or a healthier snack. So that's good. The illusion is really good. But we're going to start off with the syrup loaves and make the dough so it can prove. And for that, we're going to need 50 grams of fresh yeast. And today I'm going to make the bread and knead it by hand. Sometimes you just feel like it. It's like getting some extra exercise or strength training to knead your bread dough. In this measuring cup, I have 2.5 deciliters of milk and then 2.5 deciliters of water, and I have warmed them to body temperature. That is what the yeast can handle. So I'm gonna dissolve the yeast in some of the milk. That looks pretty dissolved. I'm gonna add the rest of the liquid. And then we're going to have 1 deciliter of dark syrup. And this measure is 1/2 deciliter. So I'm gonna take 2 of those. So that's done. And we're gonna have 2 teaspoons of salt. 1 and 2. The dark syrup is what's gonna give the bread a very lovely brown color. You can see it already now that the mixture is much more brown than just making wheat bread with salt and sugar and so on. And then we're gonna have 100 grams of butter that I've warmed to room temperature. I warmed it a little much, but that doesn't matter. We can use that. 100 grams. And then we are going to take 5 deciliters of the sifted rye flour. About 5. I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because I really like the flavor of the rye flour. And then we're going to use hard wheat flour, specifically suitable for bread actually, and this recipe called for it. In Sweden we call it vetemjöl special, like wheat flour special. But it is it's a harder, tougher gluten, if I remember correctly. And now we're going to have about 9 deciliters, but this I'm going to do to touch how it feels, how the dough feels. I'm going to take about, this is probably about roughly 5. And then I'm going to stir it. And then as I'm going to knead it by hand, I can really feel when I'm happy with the dough. I'm just going to stir it for a while in the bowl, and then I'm going to knead it on the table. Now I can put a lot of flour on the table because it's nowhere near done. Now it's a soft, pliable dough, not sticky, not a lot of sticky at least. So I'm going to put some flour in my bowl. I'm going to put it back, put a towel on it, and it's going to prove for about 30 minutes. And then we're going to form it into loaves and put it in our baking trays. So I'll see you then. While we wait for our syrup loaves to prove and get ready for the oven, we are going to use the oven and make the banana and chocolate muffins. I have put the oven on for 180 degrees Celsius, and now we're going to mix the batter for the muffins. We're going to bake them in this muffin tray, and hopefully they will be sort of done when my kids want them for their afternoon snack. We're going to start with this is an American recipe, so it uses cups. So I have, but that is easy, you can just translate it if you need to. But 1.5 cups of flour, regular wheat flour, I think, so 1.5 cups of that. And in this bowl where I'm gonna mix all the dry ingredients, we are gonna have baking soda, about 1 teaspoon. I usually take a little more, like 1.5, because I want them really fluffy. And then it calls for 1 tablespoon of vanilla, but I don't have any vanilla, but I have vanilla sugar that I use. That usually works fine. So 1 tablespoon of vanilla. And then we're gonna have a little bit of salt. Doesn't call for that, but I think the flavors get so much better if you have like half a teaspoon of salt in it. That is it for this one. I'm gonna give it a whisk. And now we're gonna mix the wet ingredients, which are about 3 ripe bananas. And here you can have them almost as brown as you like, the sweeter it gets. I don't have any older than this one, but it's a really good way to use up your old bananas. Not too old. Can't be disgusting, but the skins can be like completely brown and it will be excellent. But this one will do fine. The browner they are, the easier they are to mash into a puree. So, and in this we're gonna have 1/4 cup of honey. The honey is now starting to set like good honey can. This honey is from one of my neighbors. She's a beekeeper, so I buy my honey from her. It's fantastic. Because then I know that the honey is probably from my garden, since she is just a few houses away. Let's see if I can get this to work. About 1/4 cup. It will mix in. If you have really hard honey, you can melt it a little. It's no problem. Like in the microwave or something. That's it. And then we're gonna have 1 tablespoon of olive oil. I'm also gonna grease the muffin pan with olive oil so they don't stick, because it's not that much fat in this batter. I am using 2 eggs. I think that usually works well when you have pretty small egg. If I had big eggs, I would use 1. I have small eggs. Now I'm going to see if I can combine this a little before I add the yogurt. So, and then we're going to have 1/2 cup of yogurt. And here you can use any yogurt, if you have Greek yogurt or, well, basically anything. I'm using just regular breakfast yogurt. And since it's yogurt in the batter, that's why we use baking soda, because it's an acid. And baking soda reacts really well to that. Once when I made these, I accidentally took baking powder. They became like half the size they usually get. And then I realized that you can exchange it, but then you have to have twice as much baking powder as the recipe calls for baking soda. But it works better with baking soda. I made a mistake. Now we pour it in. And get all the goodies. And give it a whisk. Combine it. I'm basically just stirring it and folding it a little. I'm not whisking it for too long. Now that we've got our batter in order, we are going to add some chocolate chips. You can choose any color you like. This is milk chocolate. I've had, these are really good with dark chocolate, with milk chocolate, whatever you feel like. About half a cup, or as much as you like. But my kids really like it when they're with milk chocolate. Do that. Quick batter. Now we just need our tin. I don't have any cooking spray because basically that is not very common in Sweden. To use, but I have a brush, so I can just brush these and then it will work. So when I make muffins, I use 2 tablespoons to transfer the batter to the tins. I scoop with one and I make sure to get all of it off with the other spoon. This is how I've always done it. My mom taught me this, so that's how I do it. First I give all the pockets 1 spoon, and then I go back and then basically get 2. It's a rather thick and easy to work with batter, so I like it. They're even enough. If you did as I do and made a small mess, just wipe it off. It doesn't burn. It's okay. So now I will put these in the oven for 180 degrees Celsius. In my oven this takes about 25 minutes. But somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes. You need to check them. Now the muffins are out of the oven. It took 25 minutes. They look really yummy. They are soft but nice. And when they've cooled a little, I'm gonna lift them up and we can eat them. Nommy nommy nom. Now our bread dough has been proving for about 30 minutes and it looks good. It has gotten almost double in size, I think. Now we're gonna take it out and form our 3 loaves. I don't think we need a lot of butter. I don't think we need a lot of flour to do that. I'm just gonna get it out. Oh, there we go. It's nice and soft. So I'm just gonna divide this into about 3 equal pieces. If you want exactly 3 loaves of the same size, you need to weigh the dough. It's that simple. if you need it, if it would be important. I like to just take my dough. These looks really small, but they actually prove quite a lot. And when they bake, this is what they're gonna look like now. It looks like the tiniest loaf ever. But it's really airy bread, and it's really tasty. So I'm not worried they will get bigger. Now I'm going to cover them again, and we're going to prove them for about 30 minutes again, or when we think they look nice, and then we'll bake them. But I'll show you how they look when they're done the proof. Now the bread loaves have been proving about 35-ish minutes. I'm going to take a look. Ooh, look, they must be at least twice as big. So now we're going to bake them. I'm going to bake them in the lower part of the oven for 200 degrees Celsius. It says for about 35 to 40 minutes, but I think I will probably do the 40 minutes because before, when I did this on 35, they got a little bit doughy. So I'm gonna go for 40 minutes, and then I will show you how they look. But I think this will be nice. Now I've just taken the syrup loaves out of the oven. I had them in for 40 minutes. They look really good. You're supposed to keep them in the loaf tins for another 10 minutes before you take them out. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to put them on the cooling rack after those 10 minutes. And here they are. Done. There. Try to show you there. Nice color all the way around. They're soft. They're really good. Basically, they're best with just butter. So this will be super tasty together with the banana and chocolate muffins. Well, that's it for this time. Just needed to do some baking. And so thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.